Hello there. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Trevor Mbija. Now, here's the latest. The Labour and Employment Court has spared 8 KMPDU chiefs jail, giving them 5 days to call off the strike. The development came as the strike entered the 53rd day, with patients who cannot afford private care bearing the brunt of the crisis. The doctors are demanding full implementation of the CBA they signed with the government in 2013.
So I'll suspend this sentence further. So the doctors will not be going to jail today. They have 5 more days. And this 5 days is not for negotiation, in my view. It's for calling off the strike, because I'm dealing with a case for contempt. It's for calling off the strike. The negotiations are the sidebar. But you are allowed to continue with the negotiations. So we come back on the 31st. The respondents, you have 3 days to respond to this application that has been filed, and when you come back, we can have more directions.
Now, my colleague Leila Mohammed was at the court at that time, and now she's at the Railway Club where the doctors are converging. Leila, what's the latest from there? How have they taken this news? Are they going to call off the strike?
Well, Trevor, if you had just called me 5 minutes ago, you would have been able to witness firsthand the feeling of the doctors. They were singing loudly on top of their voices, saying Dr. Clipper Mailu should go. They were singing a Christian gospel song. They were saying Mailu akikuja mbele, kanyaga, kanyaga, kanyaga. I get the feeling that their feeling on the ground is that, yes, the court has given them a 5-day reprieve. They have more hours to go back on the drawing table and retactify what they want to do next. However, the feeling that I get on the ground here is that they might just not adhere to what the court has said of probably calling off the strike. They say they want full implementation of the CBA. They insist and they persist, and they say it is not necessarily about the 300% increment that many out there are singing about. They say the CBA is a much more bigger animal. We saw in court earlier members of both sides of the divide saying that there is need for an amicable conclusion to be reached, so that this action that has been going on for the last 50 plus days should come to a conclusion. We saw the lawyers from the government side being very harsh on the doctors. They say that they were sprung upon very late last evening with a court order. The doctors' side, the KMPDU side, they want the court to use its wisdom to give them 14 more days to come to an amicable conclusion. The judge saying that she is being very fair in terms of what she has said today, but she says the 5 days that she has given are not for going back to the negotiating table. However, she wants the doctors to do nothing else but to stop the strike immediately. However, according to the doctors, we are waiting in the next few minutes. The doctors, the senior officials of KMPDU are said to be in a meeting. They are taking some tea, probably just to take a breath from the fact that they were being faced with a 1-month jail term. However, that has been stretched 5 days further. We want to see what they're going to say, and we'll be here, Trevor.
Leila, I can still hear the doctors chanting behind you, but one thing that the industrial court has consistently said is that the CBA, the 2013 CBA, has not been registered as is. How do the doctors intend to circumvent that particular ruling?
Well, Trevor, the doctors have said both parties put pen on paper in 2013. They say that document is legally binding. However, the government side says there was a contentious issue number 4 that was touching on remuneration. The government was saying that their parties that were agreeing then had not agreed on the 300% increment. That was given 90 days at that particular point for both parties to come back on the negotiating table and to come up with an agreement so that it can be signed, sealed and delivered to be an authentic document, Trevor.
All right, thanks, Leila. That's Leila Mohammed speaking to us live from Railway Club, where the doctors' officials, the union officials, are yet to give an official statement after that ruling, giving them 5 days to call off the strike. They were meant to go to jail today, but the Justice Wasilu postponed that for 5 more days, asking them to call off the strike. They're yet to give give an official statement on that. Leila Mohammed is staying with them. We'll be keeping you abreast as time goes by. Human Rights Watch has demanded that 2 Sudanese who were allegedly abducted by Kenya police be released or be presented in court amidst fears that their efforts to deport the 2 activists who are critics of the South Sudan's government. Steve Juma has more.
Dong Samuel is a human rights advocate and member of Human Rights and Justice Committee for South Sudan's opposition, and Agri Idris chairs the opposition's Humanitarian Affairs Committee. They were arrested on Monday and Tuesday respectively and driven to an undisclosed destination.
It's very frustrating that the government is neither confirming nor denying their detention at an undisclosed location, despite the fact that we have from very reliable sources indications that they are being held by the authorities.
Prominent lawyer Dong Samuel Luak led to Kenya in August 2013 after receiving death threats for defending a high-ranking politician accused of treason, according to the US-based rights body.
It is don't know anything about it and families have reported disappearance, then the authorities should visibly be seen investigating with a view to finding out where the missing persons could be.
The Kenya Human Rights Commission has accused the state of failing to protect the rights of foreigners who have legally acquired asylum in the country despite signing international treaties.
Kenya has unlawfully deported several prominent opposition members from neighboring countries back to their countries of origin despite being recognized as refugees under Kenyan law and protest by the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. Recently, we've seen the case of James Gaptet.
Not a coincidence that Samuel disappears on Monday and just about 24 hours later, Idris is missing. And these are very known and vocal activists that have spoken very, very prominently about the government of South Sudan.
Agri Idris was last seen Tuesday morning around 8 a.m. He had gone to visit a relative nearby, near to his house in Kilimani, and left the house saying he was returning home, and he also never arrived home.
The Rights Commission wants the Kenyan government to issue a statement specifying whether it had a role in the disappearance and possible deportation of the 2 individuals. Steve Juma, NTV.
Let's talk about some politics now. Nominated Senator Beth Mugo has urged residents at the coast to register in large numbers and vote to ensure that Raila Odinga is not elected as president. Speaking at the Tononoka Social Hall in Mombasa, where she met Jubilee Party supporters on the same day that Raila Odinga campaigned in Kwale and Mombasa, Mugo said that President Uhuru Kenyatta deserves a second bid and should be re-elected. She also criticized Raila's development record in Nairobi's Kibera area when he was the Lang'ata Member of Parliament. Other leaders present called on all political and religious leaders to work towards ensuring a peaceful general election in August.
Tuchukue kura nyingi, ndio asubuhi na mimi nasikia ako hapa leo na mumusalimie mkimwona. Ndio mimi nasema tuchukue kura asubuhi na mapema, tumwambie sasa rafiki yetu, sasa umetosha, sasa ni wakati wa kwenda nyumbani upumzike.
Mimi nawaomba watu wa Mombasa, tafadhali mmekuja hapa, nyinyi ni viongozi, mkitoka hapa murudi manyumbani katika wadi zetu 30 kuangalia ni kadi ngapi za kura tumeandikisha kila siku. Mombasa iko na idadi ya chini katika Kenya nzima ya uandikishaji kura. Na ikiwa mtaka mabadiliko tutaleta na maneno kweli?